back to the channel and welcome to my kitchen for what is about to be the start of a very exciting new series here on the channel. So you guys obviously know I love to cook, I love to bake, and I guess you guys do too, and I'm always sharing my recipes and meal ideas in my vlogs, but sometimes it can be a little hard to kind of track them down and locate them if you want to go back and try them later on, maybe a couple of weeks down the line, and you're like, where did that video go? I have no idea what video she made her soup in, or her brownies in, or a pasta dish in. And I thought it would be a fun idea just to start a new little mini series here on the channel where I get to share my favorite recipes, whether that is lunches, dinners, soups, curries, whatever, bakes, you name it, with you guys in dedicated videos so it is easier for you to see. So we're going to kickstart the series with a little lunch recipe, or you could have it for dinner if you want as well, that I eat probably 4 to 5 times a week for my lunch, and I absolutely love it. It's super quick and super simple to do, and it's great to have on hand. I can hear Pippa in the background. It's great to have on hand in your fridge during the week. Sometimes I even use this as a snack, and it is my roasted veggie soup. So let's get straight into the cooking. So as I said, this recipe is super simple. It's one that I like to just prepare in the morning time if I've got a little bit of extra time, because you can kind of let certain parts of the recipe just simmer away or roast away and do it themselves without standing over it for long periods of time, and it comes together really quickly, kind of with whatever you have in your fridge. So don't feel like you need to stick to these exact ingredients when it comes to the vegetables anyway. I feel like you can throw in a lot of different things. I have in the past, when I haven't had certain things, I've substituted for other vegetables and it has always turned out really yummy. So I'm going to talk you through the ingredients first and what you will need to cook with it, and then we will get straight to cooking. Kicking things off with your ingredients, as I said, it's super simple. So vegetables wise, we're going to start off with some broccoli, cauliflower, carrot, and some peppers. Usually I would use just a regular red pepper. However, I got these ones from the local grocery man, greengrocer that comes, and these looked really cute and I really needed to use them up. So I'm going to pop them into my soup. I'm really excited to use them, but just any pepper, whatever you would like, or if you don't have them, just don't use them. As I said, the vegetables are really interchangeable, so if you don't got something, just use something else. You're also going to need an onion and some garlic. When it comes to garlic, I love garlic, and I always use fresh garlic over granules or garlic seasonings. I just think fresh garlic makes the biggest difference, and I think there is a huge difference in the taste as well. So I use 2 cloves of garlic. Use less if you don't like it, obviously, or use more if you want to. Over here to the side then, I actually have some fresh basil and fresh parsley that I grow myself. This is like one of my little pride and joys. I love having it on the side just to be able to pick off some herbs for my soups. And then in the back here, I actually have some frozen whole leaf spinach. This is actually a really easy way of getting some extra veggies into your vegetable soup, or if you feel like you don't have enough broccoli or enough greens in your soup, just to throw in some spinach. I always have frozen spinach in my freezer, so it's nice to be able to throw that in when you can. And then when it comes to the seasonings, I keep things super simple. So all you're gonna need is salt, pepper. I like to use oregano, and I also roast everything up in olive oil. So that is all that you're going to need when it comes to the ingredients. And then when it comes to kitchenware and utensils, it's super simple. Obviously you're going to need your chopping board and your knife, which I have sitting over here, and you're also going to need a pot for your soup. I like to use a pretty big one because I do a pretty big batch of soup. I also have my baking tray, my wooden spoon, and this little baby, which is my blender from Tefal. I never know how to pronounce it, but this here is an absolute gem in the kitchen for whizzing up sauces and soups, and I love it. Basically it's just a handheld blender, but it's super handy to have in your arsenal in the kitchen. So we're going to start off super simple by preheating our ovens. Mine is a fan oven and I put it at 180 degrees Celsius, and then we're just going to prep our veg. So peeling and chopping up our carrots, chopping up our broccoli, cauliflower and peppers, onions and garlic, and then we get to roasting everything. we have all of our veggies chopped up now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add in some frozen cauliflower and some frozen broccoli that I have in the freezer as well. Obviously it is frozen. I'm just going to throw it in on top of the vegetables on the baking tray just to add a little bit more. I don't have any more fresh at hand, so feel free to use a little bit of extra frozen if you need to. There's no specific quantities that I use for any of this. I just kind of like throw in what I have. So now that we've got our baking tray full of all of our veggie goodness, we're just going to season up. So first we're going to go in with some olive oil. Again, I don't kind of go any specific measurements with this. I just drizzle on over, make sure they're all nicely coated. This is what's going to make your vegetables nice and crispy. I'm going to go in with some pink Himalayan salt and some extra bold peppercorns. And lastly, some oregano. And I am quite generous with the oregano. So we're just gonna pop those veggies in the oven now for 15 minutes and they're gonna crisp up nicely and we can get started on chopping up the onion and garlic then. We're gonna let that do its own thing in the oven now for the next 15 minutes, and whilst that is roasting away, we're going to get started on sauteing the onion and the garlic. So I like to do this separately to the roasted vegetables. You could totally just roast them all in the same tray if you like, but I like to do it separately. Now we're just going to add some olive oil to our pan along with our onion and our garlic. And we're gonna saute this on a kind of medium to low heat so that it doesn't burn. And we're gonna do that for about 5 minutes or so until you kind of see the onions start to go translucent. And in the meantime, whilst the onions and garlic and the veggies are almost ready, I'm gonna boil up some hot water. So this is gonna be the kind of like stock, I guess, for your soup. I'm not going to put in any stock. I think the vegetables are enough. I don't think you need any more, especially with the seasoning, with the salt, the pepper, the oregano, the basil, the parsley, all that. I don't think you need much more. So I'm just going to boil up a full kettle of water so that we have that ready to go when the veggies come out of the oven. Veggies are out of the oven. I'm just going to give them a quick little mix about to kind of just incorporate all of the herbs and salt and pepper. And my onions and garlic are all sauteed down nicely and smell amazing. So I'm just going to add the veggies into my pot now. Veggies are in, just give it a quick stir about. I'm just going to add my hot water next. So I generally just add enough water to cover the vegetables to the top. So if you feel like you need to add more as the soup is bubbling away and simmering away, you can do that. I usually do actually, and sometimes I do towards the end. It just depends how thick or how thin you like your soup, I guess. Now I am going to just add the final touches before I can let it just do its thing for a little while, and that is adding the spinach and the basil and the parsley, and maybe a little bit of extra seasoning as well. Turn this up to a super high heat and get the water boiling again, and once it's boiling we're going to reduce it down to like a simmer and just let it simmer away for like 20 minutes or so. You'll see the water levels reduce a little bit, and that's when you kind of know everything has culminated together into a yummy pot of deliciousness. Sometimes I let it sit away for longer and I'll add a little bit more water. It just kind of depends how long you feel like you can leave your soup to sit there without wanting to eat it. But in next to no time we're gonna have a pot full of deliciousness. little bit of work done whilst my soup has been bubbling away on the stove. I am sitting next to it, by the way, so it's not like anything can happen. If you aren't though, try and keep an eye on your soup. That would be a good idea. But this has just been bubbling away. I did add a little bit of extra water as it started to reduce, but it is just about ready now, and I think you'll all agree it looks very appetizing. Not. So you are going to want to go ahead now and turn off your soup, and well, not turn off your soup, but turn off your cooker and take the soup off the heat. And what I'm going to do now is, this kind of depends on how thick you like your soup. I don't like mine too thick, and I also don't like it too thin either. And when you start to blend your soup up, which is what we're going to do with the blender that I showed you earlier on, it starts to thicken a little bit, obviously, because you're blending the whole vegetables into a puree, I guess. So I'm going to add some water because it makes it a little bit easier to blend up. It just thins it out a little bit so that everything can move about. That should be enough for now. I'm going to start blending it up, and if I feel I need a little bit more, I'll add some more. Get a general gist of the consistency of the soup here. I'm going to add a tiny little bit more water just for my personal preferences, and give it one more little blend up, and that should be it. The fun part now, the part that everybody enjoys the most of cooking, and that is the eating. Oh, that's so yummy. Can you hear a little Pippa walking around in the background? She wants some of the soup too. Anyway, yeah, this is so good, and it keeps for ages in the fridge as well, so it's really great to have on hand throughout the week for lunches, for dinners. As I said, I tend to eat it with like a salad or something like that at lunchtime, which it is right now, so I'm going to do it with a little feta and tomato salad. But yeah, it's great, and you get the best of both worlds because one, it tastes really good, if I do say so myself, and it's also full of things that are really good for you too, so you're gonna feel great after you eat it. That is about it for episode number 1 in my latest cooking / baking series. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. I had loads of fun doing it, and I've got loads of really good and really yummy ideas for future videos. But if you've got anything that you'd like to see, whether that's a specific bake or a specific dinner, or even whether that is like breakfast, lunch or dinner ideas, do let me know down in the comments, because I would love to hear what you think, and I will see you all again really soon in my next video. Bye!